from the two candidates for the position of CLALLAM County Superior Court Judge, Position 1. Lauren Erickson is currently one of CLALLAM County's 3 Superior Court judges, and she has served in that capacity since early 2019. She is running for re-election. As the challenger in this race, Lisa Dublin is an administrative law judge of the Washington State Office of Administrative Hearings, and she is the division chief in its Tacoma office. She has been with the Office of Administrative Hearings since 2010. And as I said earlier, John will be our forum moderator this morning. So over to you, John.
All right. What we want to do is make sure everybody's muted, except for Lisa and Lauren. And what we'll do is go back and forth. We'll begin with each of the candidates and their platforms. 3 minutes, please. And I'm going to get Lauren, if you could go first. Just you're on my window here. So
okay, sounds good.
If that's all right, if you can go for 3 minutes, please.
It's perfect.
And then Lisa will follow. Thank you.
So I am CLALLAM County Superior Court Judge Lauren Erickson. I am CLALLAM County's first female Superior Court Judge. Superior Court Judge is the most important legal job in the county. As a community, we want a Superior Court Judge who has earned our trust over a long period of time. The people of CLALLAM County have been able to see my performance in Superior Court for 25 years. Before I became the judge in 2019, I worked in the prosecutor's office for 12 years. After I left the prosecutor's office, I did a number of things. I pro tem'd in both CLALLAM County District Court and CLALLAM County Superior Court. At various times, I've been the CLALLAM County hearing examiner and also the hearing examiner for the cities of Port Angeles and Sequim, also the city of Bellevue and Snohomish County. For 10 years, I represented indigent parents in the child welfare system. I also worked for 10 years as an administrative law judge. What I have brought to this position is an extensive background in criminal law. I have done in excess of 50 jury trials as a prosecutor and another 15 as your Superior Court Judge. In fact, I'm in the middle of a jury trial right now. I have done everything from burglaries to serious assaults to sex offenses. But what I've also brought to this position is 10 years representing people who are at their worst because CPS has just taken their children. Many of these people have substance abuse disorders, mental health issues, and cognitive delays. I believe I do well as my job as Superior Court Judge because I have known and experienced the challenges the state faces when prosecuting cases. I know evidentiary standards, and I know what the state needs to do to prove each element of the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. But I also have the perspective of having represented people who are up against the state. I am your presiding drug court judge. Over the last year, we have implemented what's called phasing, and I believe that is making our drug court participants do better because they know where they are in the program, and it just has make it better. I'm a strong supporter of therapeutic courts, and which are also known as problem-solving courts. I am a member of the Law and Justice Committee, and we last voted to support moving forward on a mental health court. But the major issue the court has faced over the last year is how do we do jury trials in the light of the pandemic? You should be proud of your local courts. We were up and ready to go as of July 6th, which was the first date that the Supreme Court allowed us to do jury trials since March. And that was not true of all courts. And as I said, we're in the middle of a jury trial right now. I did our first jury trial in August, and I thought things went really well. And I think I do my job well because I have all these experiences. And what you can do with me, you can come to court anytime and watch what I do. You are all welcome to come and see and come and watch what I do. Among others, I am endorsed by Sheriff Bill Benedict, Washington State Supreme Court Justice Susan Owens, retired Superior Court judges George Wood, Ken Williams, and Brooke Taylor, and also local community leaders Karen Rogers, Orville Campbell, and Glenn Wiggins, and current Superior Court judges Brent Baisden and Simon Barhart.
Okay, thank you very much, Lauren. Lisa?
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Lisa Dublin, and I am running for CLALLAM County Superior Court Judge Position 1. Thank you, Norwesters, for inviting us to speak today. Voting for judges can be hard, and the more information I can provide you all, the better. First, a little bit about myself. I am a Washington native and graduate of Seattle Prep High School, Pacific Lutheran University, and Willamette University College of Law in Salem, Oregon. For 13 years after law school, I practiced primarily employment law with the law firms of Jackson Lewis and Seaver's Besto James. I also practiced criminal defense, construction defect, and personal injury law, and served as in-house counsel to T-Mobile. I ran a small business, and I served as Judge Pro Tem, which is a non-permanent temporary judge in Issaquah Municipal Court and King County District Court. In August of 2010, I had the honor of joining the Washington State Office of Administrative Hearings, or OAH, on a full-time basis as an administrative law judge. Since then, I've presided over thousands of proceedings involving subject matter ranging from liquor and marijuana enforcement and licensing, to insurance and securities fraud, to special education, to Washington State Patrol forfeitures, and Title IX sexual assault cases involving college campuses. In 2014, I was promoted to lead administrative law judge and served as subject matter expert to the other judges in my field office. In 2017, I was promoted again to senior administrative law judge, and then managed the work of approximately 20 administrative law judges, including Lauren Erickson, who work on a pro tem basis at OAH. In 2018, I was promoted yet again to Division Chief Administrative Law Judge, which is my current position. I presently manage 29 judges, including 2 senior administrative law judges and 7 legal assistants. My responsibilities include managing efficiencies and timeliness, participating in budget development and oversight, leading projects, and maintaining a cohesive team. I have earned the trust of those around me and above me in what I do over a long period of time. Since COVID shifted our operations online, I have worked from home in SCRIM. I'm running for CLALLAM County Superior Court Judge because I love CLALLAM County, because my judging experience is broad and deep, because my project management and budget experience will allow the court to make real progress on challenging projects such as a mental health court and courthouse security, because I want to raise the bar in case management efficiency and technology, and because I want to bring fresh perspective to the bench while honoring what works well. Judges make daily decisions impacting public safety and constitutional rights. The voting public should know the quality and depth of their experience and have a say in who is placed on the bench. Thank you again for this opportunity.
Hey, could I get an audio check? How did that, Sally, you're right next to Lisa in effect. Did the audio okay? It sounded a little high to me. If you could unmute. Sally, if you could unmute for a second. Yeah,
Okay.
How did that
So,
sound?
I'm not right next to Lisa. I'm in the same town,
Okay,
but we're
okay.
not next to each other. I don't know how I'm coming across, if I'm coming across high.
You can't find, how did anybody else on the voice, just to make, before we go any further?
Hey, John.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Lauren, can we go back and ask questions? What we want to do is have everybody ask questions, address it to everyone, and send the questions on the chat thing. And I'll read it to the to each of the candidates. If we could begin with Lauren. Lauren, what sets you apart from your opponent? And Lisa, we're going to ask the same question of you afterwards. Thank you.
So I think what sets me apart, again, I've been practicing law in CLALLAM County Superior Court for 25 years. Lisa has never bothered to set foot in a courtroom in CLALLAM County. I work in Superior Court. I have done both the prosecution side for 12 years, again, serious assault, sex offenses, burglaries, all kinds of cases. And Lisa's done none of that. I also have the perspective of having represented, again, people in Superior Court, parents that have had their children removed. I understand what it's like to represent people against the state. But I think the other thing is I've also been an administrative law judge. An administrative law judge is not part of the judiciary. Lisa cannot call herself a judge. She doesn't work in a courtroom. She works in a conference room, if at all. Usually their hearings are by phone. In Superior Court, we do things like divorces, restraining orders, again, sex offenses, serious assaults, probates, all those kinds of things that the Office of Administrative Hearings doesn't do. Their job, they're part of the executive branch. They are a function of the bureaucracy in Olympia, which I think is important, but it's just not the same as being in the judicial branch. And we do all kinds of things that are separate. Their main job is to determine whether or not the agency has followed their own rules. They don't make constitutional decisions. She is not a constitutional judge, and that's what sets me apart.
Lisa?
Thank you. So what sets me apart from my opponent is that can you all hear me okay? Mic too high?
Good.
So what sets me apart from my opponent is that I don't just bring the horizontal litigation and judging experience, but I also bring court management experience first and foremost. So my opponent has not had, that I know of, the project management experience that I have. So for instance, I instituted when COVID came out a pilot project in our agency so that we could have video hearings, so that we would not have to continue matters, keep continuing them, until we could have in-person hearings. So I initiated that, put the pieces together, and then implemented it in our field office. That became a model for the agency. And so now across the state, it's being used and has been successful. My opponent says that I've never bothered to set foot in a CLALLAM County courtroom. That's just not true. I've been to the CLALLAM County Courthouse and the courtrooms on several occasions, talked with judges. I even held a hearing on the second floor of the CLALLAM County Courthouse. ALJ, she also states that an ALJ is not part of the judiciary. We are actually, our title is Administrative Law Judge, and it's in RCW 34.12. We were created by the legislature, and we're overseen by the executive branch of government. I have worked in courtrooms all over the state, in hearing rooms, and I apply procedural rules, including the APA and the civil court rules. So there is overlap between what we do and constitutional practice. Some of my cases have involved that overlap. I instituted, again, another project, the appeal process for Washington State University's Title IX sexual assault program. This contains overlap in the criminal courts. Often these students that are accused of sexual assault have ongoing criminal matters, and we have to take those issues into account. But I bring a depth of experience that my opponent does not have, and consequently, I believe, cannot provide to the court in getting the essential projects done that we need to get done.
Thank you very much, Lisa. We've got a question from the club member, Kathy Presley. With the incredible challenges you've already faced this year, what do you think is the most pressing need to be addressed in our local judicial process? Lauren, could we begin with you?
So actually, as I said, our courts have been up and running as soon as the Washington State Supreme Court allowed us to do so. I think the most pressing need we have is the issue of incompetent defendants. That is a huge problem that's going on all over the state. The issue isn't with the court. The issue is with Western State, because what has happened by law, when someone is found incompetent to stand trial, they need to get to Western State within 7 days for competency restoration. The problem is Western State is so backed up, and they were backed up prior to the pandemic. It's taking in excess of 100 days. And that's a huge issue because people are arguing that that is a substantive due process violation, and therefore we have to dismiss the case. And that's what we're facing right now. And I think that is the most challenging thing in front of our court today.
Okay. Lisa?
Right now, the biggest issue facing our courts in CLALLAM County is an access to justice issue with those who are mentally ill. I am a huge proponent and came into this process as a huge proponent of a mental health court. Right now, about 30% of those in our county jail have mental health issues, and it should not frankly be there, or could be better placed. It is a drain on our resources, and we have right now the backing and support to institute this court. Let's get it going. Let's put together a plan. By doing that, when we have, in CLALLAM County, we see those who are drug addicted come in with mental health issues as well. If we had a mental health court in place, we could provide those wraparound services and redirect those individuals to get the justice they deserve. That's one of my top priorities. And I have the tools and the knowledge to do it. We have partners at every level, thanks to Mark Nichols and Harry Gasnick, who've gone out and done the research and thought outside the box to address our concerns here in this community. We have, I understand, an affordable housing shortage. That is a key to implementing a mental health court, providing stability to those who are coming before the court. Let's think outside the box and get it done.
Well, can I just point out that mental health court is a completely separate issue?
Excuse me, Lauren. Lauren, I think you're speaking. It's not your turn. John Brewer is the mediator.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question. From North Shaft, club member here. In the Seattle News last night, there was a report of a known homeless man, drug user, and habitual offender who had been arrested, charged, convicted, and released dozens of times. Yesterday, he murdered another individual and then, I believe, killed himself. What can and should you do in CLALLAM County to prevent any similar issues from occurring here? Lauren, can you take that one first?
Well, again, I think that goes to the issue of incompetent people standing trial and a mental health court. The issue with mental health court, we have what's called the special report calendar. We deal with mental health all the time. I do that the second and third Friday of every month. What the special report calendar can't do is provide stable housing. That is something that it's a challenge in CLALLAM County. It's a challenge, and that's the reason the Law and Justice Committee has taken that up. That's not a court issue. So, but secondly, again, restoring people so they're able to stand trial is a huge thing. And that is, what do? Do we release them into the community till we can get them to Western State? I don't think so. I mean, because of the very issue you've raised, and this is a big problem facing every court around the state, except the administrative courts, because of course they don't have to deal with those serious issues. And I don't know what to do about that. I mean, it's a huge problem. And those are the kind of decisions that a Superior Court judge makes every day.
Lisa?
We need to make smart decisions. So when defendants are the accused are first brought in, we need to take in the information about their backgrounds and their history, and understand through training what they're bringing to court. Make smart decisions, competent decisions about when to hold them, how long to hold them, what bail to set, and then make competent decisions about their release. If we had the mental health court services in place, that perhaps may have helped with this homeless man situation. But as it is, we need to move forward, making those hard calls. I do that every single day in my job, and I oversee the critical decisions made by almost 30 other judges. That's what I'll do in CLALLAM County Superior Court.
I just wanted to stress, by the way, on the questions, we've got one here. They need to be something that's addressed to both of the speakers, not just one. Okay, next question. What was your most difficult decision that you've ever had to make, and why? Lauren, back to you.
Well, the most difficult thing that's come before me, I don't know if the decision was difficult, but you'll remember that we had that murder-suicide in Swim last May. Who was in front of me about 2 days later was the mother of the 2 children that were killed. And it was very unnerving to have this woman there whose 2 children had just been killed. She was coming in front of me to get a temporary order of placement for her 2 grandchildren, because it had to be decided where the 2 grandchildren would live pending resolution of this case, because we had the 2 siblings that were shot, and then and again, where these children were going to live. And that is probably the most horrendous thing I had to experience. In terms of a difficult decision, probably would be the decision where I had to decide what to do with an individual who had just pled guilty to abusing a 8-year-old, and the prosecution was making one recommendation, the state was making another recommendation, or I'm sorry, the defense was making another recommendation. And it was stunning to me that this, by then 12-year-old and this 40-year-old man were in love with each other. And I had to make the decision about, what do I do with that? And I mean, it's easy to follow recommendation. I ended up actually imposing more time than the state recommended. And it's just difficult to deal with those situations, but I've done it for 25 years now. So at some point it's not that difficult. But anyway, I think it's important to know what a Superior Court judge does every day. We
Okay.
just don't do, marijuana licensing and unemployment claims.
Lisa, again, most difficult decision that you've had to make, and why?
One of the most difficult decisions I've had to make involved, it was in a special education matter. It involved an adoptive mother, foster mother who became an adoptive mother of 2 children who had been involved in a very young, tender age in a porn ring. And they had been abused and trafficked. And when this mother, these parents became foster parents, they drew them out of that. They fought in court to obtain custody, and ultimately the parents died of drug addiction and violence, wanted in jail. They became parents, and then the mother was a vice principal in a school, an elementary school, but she didn't live she was the vice principal at the school in a different district. And so she had to fight a busing system which would not allow these youth who had been significantly disturbed to be bused to her after they were out of school so she could provide supervision. They were traumatized, and so it was the proceeding lasted for days. It involved a lot of disturbing testimony and tears and trauma. They were reliving it during the proceeding. And so managing that proceeding in a compassionate way that took into account the trauma of these children, the grieving of the parents, and the need for cohesion between them, as well as a school district which has to abide by rules, and they're constricted in what they can do. That was a hard decision to make. So I think on that is very, very challenging. On the personal side, though, probably the most challenging personal experience at work has been having to bring my office through the death of an ALJ, a 40-something ALJ who died of a brain aneurysm tragically and just crushed our office. And so leading them through that trauma, bringing them out the other side, and being able to remember her and move forward, that was significant.
Okay, we're going to fit in one more question real quick, and then go to your closing statements. This is from Jim Jones, club member. In CLALLAM County over the last several years, we have had numerous Superior Court judges retire before their elected term was up, primarily it seems, to allow the governor to appoint a replacement. Since it is so rare for a Superior Court judge election to have a contested race, this practice has had a chilling effect on the people's right to choose their own judge. Would either of you go on record that you would pledge to say in your post-absence from some unseen emergency to retire only at the end of your elected term? Lauren?
Absolutely. I have no intention of retiring before my term would run. In fact, I plan on running another 2 terms. Obviously, something can always happen that prevents that, but what I think the public needs to know, for instance, when Brian Koganauer retired, we begged him to finish out his term, but he decided that he wanted to retire. I have no control over what other judges do. It is just a function that when some retire, it is the governor that replaces them. I believe in elections. I have been elected to this position, and I absolutely am committed to finishing out any term I have, and I'm committed to running another couple terms. I have no intention to retire. I love this job. This job does not take from me. This job energizes me, and I have no intention of giving it up.
Okay, Lisa?
Yes, I do pledge to continue to the end of the term, the entire 4 years, and then beyond. The last 5 judges on Palm County Superior Court have started out as at least 5 as appointments. It'll be Judges Melly, Judge Kopenhauer, Judge Erickson, Judge Basin, and Judge Barnhart. There have been 111 Inslee appointees since he took office as governor. Under Gregoire, there are 22 appointees, and under Locke, there were 4. I look forward to serving. It has been my calling. I am good at what I do. I have earned the trust of all that I work with and for, and I look forward to bringing that to Palm County Superior Court for the indefinite future.
Let me try to squeeze in one last question. We've got a couple of minutes. From Sean, with the exclusion of self-employment, what is the longest full-time position you have held? Lauren?
Well, I did 12 years in the CLALLAM County Prosecutor's Office, and I think that's the longest. I worked in the King County Prosecutor's Office before that. I think that's, well, I can't remember how long that is. That might be, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. But in terms of not self-employment, those are the longest jobs I have held.
Okay.
Oh, I worked for
Lisa.
for 5 years. That's true. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Lisa?
Thanks. I had my 10-year anniversary at the Office of Administrative Hearings in August, and that's been the longest job I've held.
Okay. All right. Let's go to closing statements. If you could, try to limit them to 3 minutes each for you, and then we'll conclude. And big thanks to both of you for coming today. Lauren, a 3-minute closing statement, please.
All right, thank you. So I think you can be very proud of your local court system. As I said, we never shut down during COVID-19. You have always been able to come to court, get a restraining order, divorce, a probate. We have just been ready to go. We are ready to go on day 1 once the Washington State Supreme Court lifted the moratorium on jury trials. We are doing jury trials. Again, Lisa's never set foot in a Clallam County courtroom, and and she does most of her work from a hearing room in Tacoma. We face an unprecedented level of serious crime. We have a quadruple and a triple homicide. I have the criminal background to address those issues right now. I'm looking at our statistics. We resolve for 2020, we have an 86% rate of resolution in terms of the cases that were filed and then resolved this year. We have an excellent record, and I think, again, come watch us. You can come see me anytime you want. I am open, our courts are open. Come watch me if you have any reason to think that Clallam County is not functioning very well. I think it is telling that no local Clallam County attorney has running against any one of the judges. It's only someone from Tacoma that wants to run against us.
Lisa, a couple of let you go.
I'd like to remind my colleague of the Code of Judicial Conduct, Canon 4 in particular, regarding misrepresentations, false statements. I stated that before that I have set foot in the Clallam County courtroom on several occasions. Please be aware that that's a violation of norm.
Oh, I'm aware.
Court Position 1 requires a judge who is smart, efficient, makes consistent, sound legal decisions, and brings people, project, and court management skills and experience to effectuate the county's goals. I am that judge, and I look forward to the opportunity to serve in this role. The duties of judging are independent of place. And while it may matter to some that judges practice law as attorneys in the courtroom where they preside, it is the same Constitution, the same criminal code, and the same body of law that Superior Court judges across the state bring to bear. For years, thanks to midterm retirements, the judges on Clallam County Superior Court have been appointed to their position by the governor with the help of a small and select group in this legal community. This process has stacked the deck against qualified candidates, had a chilling effect on those who might challenge them in an election, and deprived citizens of a choice at election time of the judge they believe will best serve their community. Unlike my opponent, my endorsers consist primarily of community citizens and leaders, as well as attorneys and judges across the state at all levels, including retired Washington State Supreme Court Chief Justice Mary Fairhurst. Many of these legal professionals have known and or worked with me for many years and can speak to my professionalism, leadership, and qualifications. For the last 10 years as an administrative law judge, through hard work and determination, I have earned the respect of my colleagues, superiors, and others. I have been promoted, and promoted again because of my effective leadership, competent management, and skilled judging ability over a significantly broad range of matters. I have championed court efficiency and access to justice. I have trained new judges to serve as judges, trained existing judges, including Lauren, on new laws, regulations, and processes, and mentored law clerks and learning how a court functions. I am not at the beginning of my career, but nowhere near retirement. I believe that my work ethic, reliability, and consistently sound judgments have been the bedrock of my success. Unlike my opponent, I have been rated by 5 independent state bar associations as well qualified for the position of Clallam County Superior Court Judge. I will bring fresh perspective, raise the bar, treat all with dignity and respect, and work hard every day to earn your respect. I'm Lisa Dublin, and I ask for your vote for the position of Clallam County Superior Court Judge, Position 1. Thank you.
All right. Lauren and Lisa, thank you very, very much. Thank you. Great questions, and thank you for being here. Thank you. Anyway, President Chris, over to you.
Thank you, John. Again, thank you to our guests who showed up today also. Sally, John, Connie, appreciate you guys showing up also. At this time, all right, everybody have a good weekend. Hopefully the air clears up and you guys enjoy yourselves. Good having you. Thank you.
Thank you.